Hi everyone, I have been meaning to come to you guys live, but as everyone else knows, everyone is super busy come Christmas. Plus I've been downloading software for 2020, you know, taking the Leo King's advice and trying to get shit real. A lot of the energy over the weekend, I know he did a report, which I thought was quite amusing, because obviously when you tap into the energy, you already know what's going on. The energy has been interesting in a sense that people have been feeling slightly triggered. Now, it depends on whether you're a twin, whether you're just having ascension symptoms. I know the collective had started their awakening process probably last year. It was more so evident, but it towards the end of the year. So a lot of people are experiencing different vibrations and different energies at the moment. When I do get home, which will be in 10 minutes, I will be doing a twin flame update. But bear in mind, you know, some of these energies are playing out connected to the eclipses already. Hi, how you doing, Stefan? You know, and those of you that have been with me for 3 years, moving on 4, you know, I inbox you, I touch base with you where I've got 5. I totally can directly relate to some of these energies that come through at Christmas. It's energetically normally quite nostalgic and reminiscent. We're ending a decade, so you kind of got a double whammy. You sort of got the energy going on, where the heck are we going? And then you've got the energy of, oh my gosh, how long has it been? You know, which we always say in an energy sense, to be grounded, you always need to come back to this very moment, but it's very natural that these reflective cycles can be coming up. With those reflective cycles, like I said, we've got the nodes changing, having a lot of, I do feel a lot of the energy that's going to transfer from 2020 to 2021. Obviously, with the nodes being in Gemini, you're going to find even your communication style is going to change. And I've found that those energies have been playing out for me already, definitely with technology. That's really going to be upgrading. You'll notice lots of changes with technology in 2020. But it's also the difficulty in communication, and literally it's almost like this frequency coming up with the collective at the moment that sometimes when we're looking at a mindset and trying to transmute an idea to people, it can become quite frustrating, and especially since Christmas is coming. But with the nodes that are going to be transferring over January, March, you know, our communication style's already coming up energetically. So you can be having issues with your technology, frustrated in that people aren't hearing what you're saying, or people aren't grasping your concept of where you're coming from. But one thing I have noticed with me personally is almost looking very critically at myself, but not discounting, because, you know, when you have gone through upgrades and changes in your life, you're not as much in your ego thinking you still don't have things to change. So, you know, you're a bit more adult about it, and you're like, look, I want to better myself, so potentially if there's something in a way that I'm not articulating myself correctly, really wanting to have a look at that and to change that. So, you know, if you're doing that, wherever you are in your life, with whomever you are talking to, any trigger point that comes up when you're having communication related issues, it's the best time to break that down. You know, not leaving it till later, and really each time, if something to that degree is occurring, actually grasping the fact that it's not you're right or you're wrong, and it's not that that person is right or wrong, but your belief systems and your value systems, your upbringing and the way you see things is very, very different. So to hear that person's side is actually, you know, 90% of communication is body language. So we've got to be really careful about, you know, how we're portraying ourselves to the world. It's almost like the third house communication with the Gemini nodes coming through next year. A lot of family related dynamics have been coming up, and it was almost like when I tuned into the energy, it almost felt like some of those eclipses were playing out of what is coming in January, and I was going, this is really weird. Some of these energies are playing out already. You do tend to find, especially obviously since I've started recording the energy reads for 2020, it could be uniquely to people that just are tuning into January, which is problematic, okay? So you're kind of getting an inkling of what's going to be coming. And that is being psychic, okay? So what you're not grasping is you are directly channeling into the energy of January, which makes perfect sense, you know. So you're thinking forward, and this is really what people don't understand of how deeply connected we are with, you know, the commercial on YouTube. We are all energy. We are all energy. So when you're tuning into a scenario, yet you're not quite understanding why you're feeling so bloody triggered, it is because you're psychically tuning into that frequency. Now, some of it can be fear-based. Some of it can be, oh crap, you know, look how much we've gone through. Again, past tense. Just notice some of the patterns of what I'm discussing. Tuning into the past tense and going, holy heck, you know, how far have we come? How much adversity have we moved through? How many doors had been slammed in our face, and we're trying to persevere forward, you know, keeping quite positive. And then you're coming to the present moment and you're like, oof, that's a whole lot to absorb. And then you're tuning into the future, which is 2020 January, the conjunction, Saturn Pluto. The Capricorn energy is already playing out with Sun energy, etc. So the way our egos are going to be operating, and you can always look at the Sun and the Moon as masculine and feminine within ourselves, of the yin and yang balance. So you have to look at the light and the dark, okay? The moon, the dark, the intuition, the light, the end of the light at the end of the tunnel. It's also solar plexus, the power you can put into that situation, and what you're going to do to move yourself forward. Now, thinking too far forward can be problematic, because with this eclipse that's coming up near Christmas, some of us in the world it'll be the 25th, some of us it'll be the 26th. Uniquely, when I was tuning into it and I was trying to do house by house placement for each zodiac sign, what I was finding was the reads were coming through quite negatively, to be quite frank. Now, how do I explain it? Because when we have an eclipse, it goes from one energy to another energy. So it's, again, sun and moon, light and dark, okay? That's life. Yin and yang. There's the light, there's the dark. They're potentially, in my opinion, what I feel the energy is I'm tuning into. You know where you're going, right? So it's like you got the nav man on. It's like, right, I'm setting out on my journey. I know where I'm going. But you also know that there could be potholes in the road, there could be, you know, little detours, etc. So you're prepared, but if you're in your ego and you worry too much about what potentially those potholes can be, you don't have control over those things. You have control of how you directly relate to it, which is why the videos that I'm recording at the moment, I've only got 2 done for January, which has been driving me crazy, because I am very responsible when it comes to taking the time to do the recordings, coming to you guys regularly for lives, but then obviously with ascension symptoms, other things playing out in life, you know, life, when you reach union, you're trying to balance everything. So you're going through an energetic upgrade, which is what a lot of you who do get into union will be physically going through. I'm home now. You're also going through changes of upgrades, purging, and I wouldn't even say purging, actually working through your triggers more effectively, but having 3D life happen. Now, the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn has been all the way to the point where people have been dealing with family-related dynamics, paperwork-related dynamics for the Capricorn frequency. So all of those things going on, and then you're sort of running a business as well, and you're being a twin flame, and you've got all of that shite going on too. It doesn't make it simple. So you will notice, those of you that are twins, that are on YouTube potentially, you'll go through a stage, I believe, towards Christmas and New Year's, which is what I did last year. And you'll find that the movement will come towards January, February. I'm walking through my house. I shouldn't say my house, I should say our house. I'm going to make a cuppa. So with that, you'll find that some fellow YouTubers that you had that potentially are twins, they won't be as readily available. And that's not because they don't love you, and it's not because they, you know, don't want to be there for you. It is a very unique place to be where you've been doing a lot of work on yourself, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And I mean, my journey has been over 20 years. And I was going to talk about this last night, but, you know, people were sleeping and I'm preparing for Christmas and trying to keep the house clean so I can be as organised as possible. Great Capricorn energy. So that I can achieve those targets. Now, when you do come into union, and I believe union happens with self first. And I had a great deal of time reflecting on that, and I was like, what the devil does that mean? And it was really making peace with myself. It was getting to a place where you're almost purging the way the TF dynamic was. So you can actually fast track that by looking at your belief systems of what the connection is. Now, in the early stages, you may have found, and it depends on where you are, and we can fall back into this quite regularly, and I have noticed a pattern over the last few weeks with the emergency reads with my clients, with those of you that are twins. It's like your belief system of how you've been navigating relationships, right? So for me personally, it was almost an investment in a sense, and this can be potentially where some of you are at, where you're looking at what it can be, which again, look at the pattern, right? You reflect back, so you shift your move so that you can avoid certain unfortunate situations. Then you can come to it and you can literally know what you want out of the situation, but you're living for the future instead of what the energy is in the present. And that's really problematic in the twin flame journey. We don't know we're doing it, we do it, right? And so it's like you're in love with the potential of what the situation can be, and you're really not accepting of what the physical situation directly is. That therefore it's not love because it's not looking like X, Y, or Z, which is expectation. Now, expectation is interesting. Expectation versus needs. Your needs are your needs, but during a codependent cycle, and we will all our life fall back into that and out of that, we'll fall into an energy of I'm holding on, I'm doing X, Y, and Z so that it gets to a certain stage. While you're doing that, you're actually holding space for a situation that hasn't had time to evolve, transform. And, you know, you've got to ask yourself the reasons why you're doing that. This can be even making, like, I'll just say it because I'm telling you, I'm a twin, so I've done it myself. Making excuses to the reason why things aren't flowing. Making unrealistic, I wouldn't say, not expectations, unrealistic, virtues to the situation of, look, it's getting there, you know, twins going, and this can be on masculine or feminine side, it doesn't have to be one-sided. Patience is one thing, but another. So because we base it, we know, once you know you're a twin, it becomes very complicated. And I feel the challenge really is for those of you that do know you're a twin, back and you look at where you've been. Then you got the blooming tag and you're going, well, am I damned? Like, does this mean that I have to go through a series of very unfortunate events constantly? Is it always going to be this way? No, it's not, because you're changing. And the fear factor you're actually holding is, if I'm changing, if I have heard nothing from this person, and it's if, which is playing chess, right? You're basing it on these what ifs over what directly you need. So it's like you have to, and it's quite, I wouldn't say it's addictive. It is such a high energy of a connection that you hold with this person. You just have this complete knowingness about it. But you also can see the flaws in the situation. So while you're having flaws in the situation, you needn't think of the past. You needn't think of the future. You need to think in the here and now, right? So here and now, what potentially in the given dynamic for those of you that are relating to this person, because the crowning energy, and I pulled the cards last night, but I wanted to be able to tune into it, you know, where the house was empty and I could just really you know, answer your questions, do this, so then I can move directly onto the zodiac signs that I'm doing behind the scenes. So with this energy, this is about what you believe is a happy life, happy family, happy connection, where you want it to go. A lot of the purge, don't base it on what you're wanting it to be. Okay, hear me out. Where it is versus what you believed it could have been. What is it now? Okay, and that's not to say that doesn't change. So the reason we don't do that, right, is we're too scared that it's a 3D situation. But if you truly believe this is a spiritual connection and you have a deep, deep connection with this human being, you're semi-doubting it because of X, Y, and Z of what's happened. So where you need to come, and this really does work in manifestation. You will be so surprised how often we manifest, but we're none the bloody wiser. While I energetically was thinking, I mean, in my twin flame journey, when I met my twin, it was a unique situation. But I can tell you, a lot of hopes and dreams that I wanted, even to this day, I'm purging them. But it's the reality that I'm 43 and I had wanted, you know, the white picket fence, the babies with my twin, and you get older. So it's the sadness, but it's the gratitude you hold because you look at the journey of how far you've come and you are more graciously accepting directly what's in front of you because you have waited so long, you have worked through so many hurdles that if you're so rigidly holding on to that one plan, the energy is still that of what you want with that person, not what they can give you. It's what, you know, love is a unique thing. We believe that because we're not with the person, we're not in a relationship with them. But while you are entertaining them in your mind's eye, while they are entertaining your vibration and they're in your heart, they're in your head, you're physically having a 5D relationship. So you're energetically tapped into them. You're connected to them. If you haven't chosen to leave another situation for fear that that person won't come towards you, you're still kind of doing it wrong. And I shouldn't even say that. So it's rude to say that. I mean, from the perspective of, can you stay in a given relationship while you're tuning into another? Because it's then being really mean to you. It's affecting your vibration. It's very hard to purge while you're thinking of another person. This doesn't even have to be you're a twin. It's very hard to, and so therefore, if your twin is in a karmic relationship, you need to also look at it that way, that it's not that they're not spiritually connected to you, but they're struggling with a wound and a pain body experience. And again, about family, about what their role was, about being a masculine, what their roles are. It's not clean cut. You know, we do need to reflect back to when we have had relationships and when we've tried to resurrect ourselves. It's a lesson and we do evolve and transform. And it's not we go into connections, and that's masculine and feminine, to break people down. We're really entering into a new decade of a way of being in relationships. And it's so beautiful that the nodal energy is playing out with these things, with the Cancer Capricorn energy, and then the eclipses are going to transfer over into 2020, and then it's moving into the energy of Gemini and Sagittarius, which is the growth in things, the communication in things, the movement, the short journeys, the small steps you have to take to make things happen, not instant gratification crap, okay? Yes, you're a 5D energy, but you are doing the work in the 3D. Each time we have an eclipse, we are balancing out our feminine and masculine energy, sun and moon. We're shadowing out a cycle and bringing about a new cycle, and your intent and your vibration directly links in with it, okay? So there is a lot, and it's so weird that this was the first card. I mean, I was sitting here last night in the dark and I was pulling the cards, tuning into it, and the first card that came out was a 4, all right? The 4 of Wands. Now, 2020 is a vibrational 4 year. It's also to do with, you know, what you believe is a connection. Connecting in with, let me check. And the 4th house is about home and family. And the eclipse is going to be in Cancer. So it's double, double, double. Like it's this, in order to look at these things, the 4th house placement, and that's a 4, right? It is your psychological foundation. It's the feminine energy. It's the domestic issues. It's the empath within the home that makes the day-to-day living move. And it's in Cancer. Hi, Stella. Hello, everyone. And there is a lot of trigger points that can be coming up in January. But energetically, the reason why some of you are feeling this frequency is A, because you're tuning into what's going to happen in January. Plus the astrology, fearmonger energy. Oh my gosh, is it going to be okay? Does it mean the connection I'm in? I mean, some of you could be in connection with a partnership. Some of you might not even be twins. Some of you might be twins and in union. Others of you are, you know, separate and wondering, is this person going to jump out of the karmic energy? I mean, a lot of them, and especially what really has come through, and I feel this is more, you know, the next wave that are going in, those of you who have been on this journey a very long time. The wake-up factor has already occurred, right? The energy of what's been coming through hasn't been that. It's been trying to place, there's a lot of inner healing going on. There is a lot of depleted frequency of exhaustion. Now, again, a lot of meditation into the past, into where things went wrong. And I'm not feeling this to be self-sabotage. I'm feeling this to be really, really deep healing, you know, where they're looking at their life and they're thinking, gee, you know, I didn't want these things to happen. I didn't want it to go so messy. I didn't want to hurt people. I hurt myself. You know, this is the masculine side of it, where they're looking at the failures in plans as well, of where they maybe had felt at the beginning of 2019 that things would have moved a lot quicker than they did. And look, I feel feminines also in your work domain, you guys would have been feeling this, you know, because we are masculine and feminine. So the read can go, you know, many ways, in a sense that when I'm reading into the masculine's energy, I'll also talk about the feminine in that aspect. Feeling that pride comes before a fall, maybe needing to make some adjustments, maybe thinking that you extended your journey because of potentially the way you were relating to divine masculine or feminine, and looking at it and going, okay, what do I do? You know, how do I look at this? I'm empathically seeing this person's point of view, but am I to a degree looking at them like they have no energy power? And I'm going to pull some chakra cards. Now, then they've got the 5 of Wands, and this is about change. So they're reflecting back and they're looking at situations where maybe they knew this was going to happen, okay? New things were going to play out, new things, and they're also tuning into the past and potentially even moving forward, how some of these situations, they may need to let them go because they're just going to stay the same. And they have lost a lot, but they need to let it go, and it's spiritually not giving them any growth in their life. The foundation was faulty, and they're looking at some of those situations moving into 2029 full well that it's the clock's ticking, because I'm hearing tick-tock. Possessions in reverse. Now, the red is base chakra. So this failure and loss can be to do with assets, can do to do with family-related dynamic, because base chakra is all about family. And looking at things and almost like, did I really lose anything? Because I've been losing my sanity. They believed that what they were doing was to build a happy home, and potentially people around them weren't appreciating the work they were doing, and they're seeing a polar opposite now. They're looking at also the things that they were passionate about and connected to, and they're just not connected to them. And this was very similar to what feminine went through, where they're tired for the work that they've had to put in. The Capricorn energy that we've experienced with the eclipses and the nodes this year is an example of what 2020 is going to be, because there's a lot of Capricorn energy. I mean, we've got Saturn in Capricorn, we've got Pluto in Capricorn, we've got Jupiter in Capricorn. At the moment, the sun's in Capricorn. It's step up time, you know, it's TikTok, you know. So looking back, they're looking at it, and they're also looking forward, and I feel they know this is going to come up, and anything that is old, and this was the subject matter that's been playing out from October. People have been trying to finalise tasks, right? And these finalisation of tasks, it's almost like this feeling, urgent feeling, like, I've got to hurry up, got to get it done. How am I going to get these done? They're trying to get out of these dynamics. There's so much conflict. The conflict can be in their mind about all these changes that needs to happen, and they're like, I have to dig my body through this energy. And again, even tuning into them, it's tension, headache. It's like a pressure. I'm feeling a lot of pressure in the head. They're fatigued with them at the moment. I feel they're having ascension symptoms. They've been doing a lot of dense 3D work. And because of that, they potentially could be physically exhausted. I wonder if that card will come out. I'll have to have a look. I reckon it will. Let me check. I'm feeling Ten of Swords energy, like, really, really. I'm not saying no Ten of Swords here, but this is what I'm feeling like. It's causing Ten of Swords where it's exhausting. They're trying to make, yeah, they know due to these changes, right? They have to, they're looking at the changes that need to happen. They're looking at the blocks in the road of where karmic frequencies are placing them, right? And they're going, all right, I have to be smart about this because I know this situation isn't going to change, but I need to change the way I'm relating to it because this person's not going to change. So this is the obstacles in the road. They have tried different ways, a bit like chess, and they're like, this person ain't changing. These person, places, and things, it's not changing. They may not be talking to this person. They also feel they know who they can't trust. They know who they can't trust. I don't need to say it. They're seeing it. They're feeling it. That this is old energy. This potentially could be someone they're not talking to, but that'll be right. The battery's going to go flat. So I'm going to amp the reading up, and I will come back and do the other half of it. So this will be part one because I'm not going to put the battery underneath it because it'll make it noisy. Yeah, there's a lot of vindictive energy. Bear with me and I'll come back. I'll be 5. Oh, maybe I will try and plug the battery in. It may work. I'll find a plug. We shall see. I don't know how long it'll last for, though. Because I don't really like doing 2 videos. I'm telling you, Mercury, mate, this energy at the moment. The only thing is, I'm going to have to prop yous up. Super professional, eh? But hey, like, I was literally thinking I should really give you guys some behind the scenes kind of views as to the drama that us readers go through on a day-to-day. Kind of the routine we go through, the things we have to do to, you know, get grounded, tune in, all that. Let's see if I can use this to prop it up. Maybe. See, I'm trying. Now, because I've got the battery underneath, I've got to plonk his up. Okay, so they know that this person is not working with them so well. A person, place, a thing, right? So they're looking at it, and with the 5s, it all denotes change. Trying to get out of it. They got the 7 of Cups in reverse, which is really being realistic and knowing that they have to make some massive changes, because this isn't even a tactical approach anymore. This is to the point they're looking at it going, this BS. Like, it's tension in the head, constantly having to dig themselves out of situations, and it could be 5 direct individuals coming at them, all right? Now, having to make some choices and go, I'm tired, I've worked really hard on myself, I'm moving into 2020, I'm tired of doing this. I know I can't do this forever. This is a lot of hard work. And this person can say they've changed. And this is not masculine, okay? This is external energy saying that they're changed, acting like they're changed, but the spots haven't changed. Spots are the same. I'll pull an animal totem card for this frequency coming through that masculine's dealing with. Oh. Look beyond the immediate appearance. It's like knowing that this energy has not changed. So they're prepared. They also know that this karmic frequency, it's, how do I put it? It could be very vengeful. Now, this could even be masculine getting to this point. Well, I'm going to show all of you what I'm made of, right? But I feel this is the mindset masculine is taking to these energies around them, trying to pull them back and stop them from being just themselves. And I don't think this has anything to do with, how do I put it, feminine. I feel it's them changing, right? And people around them wanting them to stay the same. But this is how they view their life. They're like, this has been hard work. I work hard. I'm energetically, I'm working hard on myself inside. And they feel they may have been battling with themselves. Some of them may be potentially going through a regression of the dark night of the soul. And a lot of reflection, a lot of emotions and fatigue. Now, this is going through in their dream state, right? And yes, I agree with you. And I'll mention that when I answer questions at the end of the vid. I will tell you some of the things I've been experiencing and some of the downloads I've had. And dreams are part of it. So this cruel energy coming through. What is this to do with? I'm feeling as though it's them looking at it going, this person's coming for me. Life has been hard. Life has been challenging, as it is. They're getting to a point they're thinking, look, oh, interesting. They're not fighting this anymore. They're stepping back, and they've got the Hermit card here as well. So I know this is quite a reflective time for masculines, but they're also looking at it very realistically. And I mentioned that to Giggle this morning, very realistically. Now, the turtle coming through. Stop trying to make something happen. This is their mindset connected to karmic frequency, connected to all this crap going on here. It's like, and I hear them taking a stand. I'm going to pull a chakra card on that. I hear them looking at it, and this cruel, vindictive energy coming. They're almost looking at it like, I'm not changing my mind. You know, the yellow is around the card, and the blue for the communication. Stop trying to make me change my direction. You can be cruel. Sticks and stones will break my boat. Look, it's not. It's unhealthy. So they potentially may be standing their ground with this. Their inner child work is being done with the yellow, but they also don't find it a joy. They have no connection to this. They feel it's non-spiritual. They feel it's lower frequency, and they're just paying it none. I do feel that if they need to, it's sort of like a sword energy where they've lost faith in it. They're like, no, this might have been people telling them how they should have been looking at themselves, how they should have been seeing themselves. And the inner work they're doing is actually helping them get to a place where they understand what they're made of, they understand what they're wanting for their life. Now, the fatigue is, again, not due to the fact that they're not a king, a knight. It's the fatigue they're feeling, okay? So the fatigue that they're feeling is, how do I put it? Due to dealing with all this BS. They also know there's a lot of jealousy projected towards this connection, towards them, towards the path they're wanting to go. But they feel, they're meditating upon that, and they're going, why are people looking at it this way? Like, why are they so, almost like, I must be really interesting. Why is this reflection coming here? They feel they're operating from a place of ego, and this isn't masculine. This is the external energy. But They don't want to have to keep watching their back, so they simply just don't want. Yeah, they're freeing themselves from it. They don't want to be around people that are treating them that way. But they are reflecting back to potentially the way people have spoken about them, viewed them. They may have reacted for a while like that, almost like, how would I put it? It's a bit like when you hear something for a long time, you start almost reacting that way, that you don't have any goals, or you don't have any hopes, or you don't have any power, because you hear it enough, you believe it. But now it's sort of like, no, I don't really feel that, you know, I listened to you, I gave my power away, and now I'm freeing myself and finding peace. I'm at peace with who I am. And it's right near the amethyst, which makes me laugh. So they're going to go into a stage of reflection, okay? And they're removing away from these people. They don't feel safe around these people. This may be a choice with especially between now and, I would say, February, March, not really wanting to be around, shedding their skin, having their Kundalini activated, choosing the tribe they want to. Actually having the strength as well to be strong enough to do that, but going through a healing stage and an upgrading, and this is ascension symptoms. I do feel after this communication's coming through, and I feel the and I'm not talking about feminines, I feel the communication of their own inner power and own voice. And it's going to be assertive. It's, yes, with the turtle, it's taken a while. But they know that this constant bad luck crap, they're just over it. They're not wanting it. But they do feel that slow and steady wins the race. And that this is also about this year, you know, how they're feeling. But they're forgiving themselves for that energy. And also, in the way they're moving, they're like, I know it's taking a while. It's like reflecting back and looking at things. And knowing that this change is taking an awful long time, but they're hoping that you can forgive them. They're hoping that they can forgive themselves. But also finding inner peace of the other things that potentially have gone wrong in their life. And it's really hard, you know, at Christmas, look at things as blended families. It depends on, with the childhood wounds, the core wounds. It also depends on, do they have those people in their life, and were there karmics and children and things to that degree. Past tense situations with you guys moving forward, and how that's going to transfer. It's a lot of letting go. And we're entering into a new decade. We're entering into a new era with the nodes changing, with Saturn and Pluto's energy moving forward. Saturn's going to be moving into Aquarius. There's a lot of shifts and changes. So this letting go is always what manifests everything back in towards you. But it's not, when you've got a pain body experience, looking at it, masculines or feminines, looking at it and knowing it doesn't define you. It was a moment in time, and actually letting go and knowing that the future is going to be very different to what you have experienced. You intuitively know where you need to remove people, places and things in your life, masculines, because you're guided by your own intuition, and your relationship with your intuition is crucial. And I do feel from what's coming through in the cards, it's like you really aren't allowing what other people have said to you in your life before to define the decisions you're physically making to move forward. It feels very assertive. I know you guys are probably super fatigued. Let's see what this card is. Okay, what is this about? Okay, you got a bit of pride here, right? Ooh, okay, I feel what's coming through here. I'll break it down for you. Yeah, we've had about that here. Joy of the Temp. I'm telling you, it's because of the eclipses. And remember, this year we don't have 4, we've got 6. We've got 6 eclipses. So you'll get weather either side, 4 weeks in, 4 weeks out. And we've got January with eclipses as well, too. Oh, we probably got through to February, March of erratic weather, and then the nodes change. Now, there is jealousy projected towards divine masculine in a sense where people are in their ego feeling they know better. People are feeling that they know this person better than, and it's not even, again, I will say it, it's not even about divine feminine. It is about the fact that this human being is deciding, and feminines, we need to accept this as well, that this person is making a decision based on the upgrades, the lessons, the revelations they've had, where they're physically making a decision of what's right for them. And that's great. That's a perfect energy. They're getting out of their own way. They're not doing things. They're wanting to follow their dreams. And that dream, you know, we should all encourage each of us to live our dreams and our vision, whatever that be. And this is what makes this person a king. And this, for many of you, can be that they're actually focusing on a partnership that they feel is really, really for them. And it feels as though with the toxic energies coming through in this read, it could be them leaving a person, place, or thing, and moving directly towards you. If this is the main goal and dream coming up, obviously we'd need to do a private read to dig directly in, but this is what it's appearing as they are now being authentic in their own right of saying, I have a right to have a dream. I have a right to not have to live constantly in this energy. And it's a total energy. It's not just about feminine. It's in general about their life, really wanting to live a better vibration than this. Now, when it comes to you, feminines, and I really had to decipher this. It was like, this is interesting. The first thing is they're looking at when this potentially should have, could have come about, right? Be it you're in communication, connection, non-connection, union, reunion. These reads are collective energy. And I did stumble across a video, and I mentioned this to giggle, and the messages that come through may also be very, very separate. Doesn't matter what, you don't even have to be a twin flame. If these messages relate, they're a message, right? Sometimes we stand in our own way and we cookie cutter everything and put them into a box. I'm more, through my lessons, I've realized that when I do listen to videos that have no union, like no contact, no union, I'm in reunion. They 9 times out of 10 will directly relate because energy is collective. We really do need to stop looking at our ego to a point where we're cookie cuttering things and putting them into boxes, because collective energy is collective energy. Yeah, we have our own blocks, which is very separate. But if there's a frequency coming through, you still may find the message in there. A lot of reflection into the past with connections is coming up, and what a relationship means. So when they're looking at you, you've really reshaped the meaning and their view of what relationships are. That has caused confusion for them, because it's almost like walking through the Sahara and you're dehydrated and you see this beautiful oasis, and it's intoxicating. Too many. It's intoxicating, and you're thirsty and you're drinking and you're thinking, no, this can't be real. It's never been that they don't believe in you. They just, you worked hard. You do think you've worked hard. So in a way they were like, why are you working so hard for me? Why are you trying so hard? Both energies, both feminine and masculine, have gone through this, so that they're doing a lot of reflection based on this, of what worked in relationships, what didn't work in relationships, why you work hard, and they're like, is this a facade? Is this like, how, too good to be true? Okay, there you go. You hit the nail on the head. Too good to be true. It's like, how is this possible? Too good to be true. Feminines, we do this too. Okay, even now to this day I do this, and I've got to check myself. Now it's looking back, and never that they never had no faith in you, right? They've always had faith in you, but they felt too good to be true. They're seeing this through different eyes now, that they want to be the soldier, that they also want you to have faith in them, like you did before. more so than you did before, that through this adversity, through these dramas, trials and tribulations, that you guys, I mean, can have it all. Now, this is going to cause, okay, what's coming through when they're tuning into you, they feel they've got to change their approach. They're changing their approach. They're changing directions. They know the things that need to change. They're looking at these things, but it's both energies. It's the fact that they have changed also. But they do feel a bit judged, okay? So at the moment, they're judging themselves. They don't feel that some of you will forgive them. They also have a lot of people around them that are non-forgiving towards them, and it's something of a learned energy. So letting go of your judgments, it's in reverse. So they're knowing that these things have to change. But even this year, I've been, with the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn, it's been, I've got to change this, I've got to change that, got to tie up these loose ends. And it was a huge amount of pressure to be so many things to so many situations. And, you know, that is really when you're tapping into masculine frequency. You're using your masculine to achieve targets, goals, hunter-gatherer mode, all of those expectations. And, yeah, some of them are needs, but it's to condense it into such a short space of time can actually be overwhelming. And that's why they've gone to this hermit energy. You tend to have ascension symptoms going on. So if there's anger coming up, guys, you know, look at that anger. The more you detach and know that the past does not define the future, your mindset changes. And if that anger is coming up, the one thing you do need to look at, especially if you're looking at these videos, right? When we're triggered and we're angry, it's about a memory and a vibration. And there's 3 ways we can do healing with this. It comes in, you feel a vibration. You've got no control over that. It's a given. Accept it. Then you get to the meditation state of where it is. And that can take years. It can take a day. It also is work through better the more tools you have, right? So the better at it you get, the quicker you can shift that frequency and you can get back into your happy place. When you're allowing that memory, that trigger point to stay in you, and I know this did come up with another reading as well, and I was, yes, because I did go through that last year, 2018, where it's so many different angles. I was looking at pain body experiences and memories that I had to look at it to the point it was, well, this is like taking it's almost like a rental of a memory inside your body that's directly affecting your vibration. It happened, you felt the vibration. You had the meditation, which is the secondary stage, which is like the 7 stages of healing. You're going through the pain body experience. Then what do you do with it? It's like nobody can take it out of you. It's there. And how it vibrates inside you is crucial. So if you're allowing it to navigate your experiences, your opinions, your vibration, the way in which you react and relate to people in general, males and females, it's taking residence inside you, and it's then becoming a you problem because it's affected you so much. The wound is still there. The wound's always going to be there. Let's just be frank. But how do you look at it? The letting go is, don't let it gain a hotel space in there, because don't you want room for better, beautiful, bigger things with whomever that is with, but with yourself. You know, that's having union with yourself. Is like, shit happened, right? Okay, I need to look at it. Some of the reasons you won't understand why, and you don't need to. It's not a you problem, it's a trigger. We do things as well that is a trigger, but this healing is coming through. But it's some of these things that you're not letting go of. You don't want to transfer them over. It's not going to help your foundation. It's like looking at videos but still not coming to terms with the wound, and then having this belief that you're going to move forward and everything's going to be peachy, and meanwhile the wound's still there. I mean, it will come up within the connection. And, you know, if you're wanting to go to the point where you're wanting to fight with each other, then what's the point of having reunion, right? And don't get me wrong, this will come up in conversation. It's more the The mindset is going into it with an aspect of the healing done. Also, so that both of you together can have a healthy foundation, because it's not healthy to be in hate over yourself. I mean, I've mucked up in my life, and if I constantly hated myself about it, I'd be still doing the same crap, honestly. We learn lessons. We do things for stupid reasons. There can be codependent patterns, drug, alcohol, etc. And your coherent energy could have been affecting your health. And this is feminines and masculines. People collectively, we're human, right? So why get into the boggle of the matrix of the mind? To heal, yes, but don't live there. You know, be in the 3D. So this blockage is coming up majorly, and it's giving both ascension symptoms at the moment, but they're looking at it wanting to move forward. Stop looking at it from the point of view of this is going to take forever, and this really came through for me more so heavily in the last 3 months, probably from October, right? And Lesiana, big shout out, I love it a bit, as well as a lovely friend of mine who's a fellow YouTuber, also has his own work that he does. He's got his own website, and he landed in Australia. He called me the other day. Adam, shout out to you. And yes, I accidentally called you, so I do need to call you back, but I have a terrible phone at the moment. So in that energy, I was dealing with a situation, and I was infinitely looking at it being a forever situation, and even thinking about it gives me a headache. With that, what you'll find is it's the same situation when you're tuning into the past. You're healing, right? Then you're tuning into the future. And this is the way masculine is looking at his life at the moment with you. He's like, he knows he has been kept you waiting. But the thing is, feminines, if you're tuning into it that way, the mind are directly linked, right? So if you're thinking in layman's terms of how long it takes in intervals of communication, movement, changes, I'm so going to have to turn the lamp on because this is giving me a headache. But it's probably because of the mindset of masculines at the moment. Then yes, it's going to take forever and a day, and we don't want to be going there. You know, you need to be in the moment. Stop thinking in terms of you're going to be waiting 10 years. Stop thinking in layman's terms of, oh, is this ever going to change? Because masculines already are in awareness of this factor, okay? Something has not tied up. Something has not come to an end. They know that this is going to shift. They feel that they're having to own their power, okay? They got Lord in reverse. They're like this. It's taking their power away, but it's also where have they been giving their power away in situations for fear, or even belief that other people have been left out in the cold, that everything is their fault. They're doing a lot of heart chakra. So again, preparing for 2020, because the card breaks down to a 4, thinking about how many times they've potentially left feminines out in the cold, and being stuck. Like, this could be karmic related dynamics, but this is communication coming in, okay? Communication about what's been blocking them, their mindset, and how they've been feeling, balancing 2 worlds, almost like the responsibilities of karmic frequency connected to the past, as well as the energy between their feminine and their path they're wanting to move forward to, and feeling split, multitasking, achieving too many things through only 2 hands, and it's wanting to have their power back, really getting to the point where they're going, I need to shift my energy only onto that of which is growing, that of which I want to grow, that of which is my dream. How do they feel about that? Yeah, a lot of communication. So, told you, 3rd eye. This is really positive. Worried about feminines. Looking at the foundation. Worried about family. Being picky in the middle. Okay? Dealing with too many jobs. A lot of movement. A lot of short trips. A lot of catch-ups. Now this is paperwork. Can be move of houses. Can be change of jobs. Taxation. Paperwork. Nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn. You know, it's all of those dynamics playing out this year. It's been going on for a long time, 8 months potentially, okay? Now they've got to the point where they're like, look, I want my power back. I want my life back. I've waited way too long, which can, again, be an egoic experience because it's the mind's eye, but it's also causing tension. It's healthy in a sense that it's pushing them to the point that they're wanting to grab things by the horns. Now, I pull cards to do with the karmic frequency to see what sort of mindsets they've got in their problem solving. And I hate those reads that says, what are they hiding from you? I mean, man, if we need to know everything that everyone's doing, when we have no interest in our own lives, quite frankly. I mean, I'm just calling it. To an understanding energetically, because we are affected by the frequency, right? That I understand. But needing to know everything, like in the early stages, if you've had betrayals and phones and shit like that, you become worried. But if you are turning over a new leaf, you will have to understand these things are things you're going to have to deal with. Are you going to go into every relationship searching people's phones? Are you going to go into every, and this can even be with a twin. You need to understand people make mistakes, but you give people chances, and know that it's, if a person makes a mistake, it's their mistake to make, and then you make a decision, okay? But if you live in the past based on what happened before, and you're thinking it's always going to repeat, well, have you energetically changed then? You know, and there's also the frequency coming through where when we do hear reads and we're saying, is the person coming correct? Are we dealing with it correctly, feminines? If you're allowing them to be going home to Miss Daisy and saying that there's this and this and this going on, and then, you know, you guys sleeping together, like you're allowing that frequency. So the solar plexus and the sacral chakra in the spiritual connection, and I'm calling it because I've been there, right? You need to understand they energetically want you to own your power as well. That, you know, the benchmark of what you feel, you outgrow a way of being, they also outgrow a way of being. But while you see your value, they see the value and investment in it, and it motivates them. But while you're thinking they may not see the value, you're missing the point. They're challenging you to know your value. Now, the karmic energy coming through, they weren't really committed, okay? They can be really concerned at the moment about their finances. They're hiding something. There's an energy of something hidden. There's a lot of facades going on here. So look, this is my energy is rock solid, right? This could be a trigger point to do with the scenario playing out of their intuition and putting a front up. But they're looking to the past, and they're realizing that in the past they're fighting over this situation. This could be like a boss trying to keep a masculine. It could be a karmic energy. It could be friends, family, etc. The view of this is we didn't see the value in this person. And then reflecting back and looking at it, but then wanting it to be something now, only because something out, they're wanting to take their energy elsewhere. Thinking that they knew this person really well. Masculines potentially might have actually had some epiphanies about this too, that, you know, maybe they thought it was more than it actually wasn't, and the hurt and the pain connected to this as well. I'm going to pull a clarifier on that. Bear with me. Yeah, lack of consistency, like literally looking at things and saying they want a partnership, but the consistency was an issue. Acting innocent, but at the same time not loving or appreciating or showing gratitude. Very, Okay, this is caution and finances. This is caution, really not jumping in the deep end, not jumping in the deep end to a point where they were giving it all, bearing it all. Just feels like a chess game. Falseness, just complete. This is not this person's fault. If this is a person, it's actually not their fault, right? And the reason I'm saying that is because look at our healing. Obviously, feminines. It's sad because this human being can't love because they were broken. They were hurt so badly from a situation that they've literally taken acting classes. That's I'm not trying to be mean. This is where their pain has got to, where they literally will not let anybody in properly. All that glistens is not gold, you know, but showing it like it is, but not being consistent, not showing love, not letting people in, being false, painting it like it is, not being it, because they're like hoping this person would fight for them so that they would get their justice. But it's really sad because, you know, feminines, look at it this way. Sometimes we do look at ourselves like victims, right? Oh my God, the journey's taken so long, right? When you look at it, if the person has seen you with the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you can keep coming back to this situation, you know, marriage, for instance, the paradigm of marriage is the good, the bad, the ugly. It's true, right? But if something bad happens in a relationship and you're really not invested in it, and that's the energy, love is how much you're investing in it. And it's not the expectation of because I'm giving you this, you're giving me that. That's actually not love. So at times, yes, love can look quite one-sided, but it's you see, you feel, right? And you invest in it. And the whole build it, they will come. Well, it's are both parties building? If both parties aren't building, why the frig are you building? Are you in nurse mode or are you in I'm in love mode? And it's not to say that you will have good, the bad, and the ugly days and that you won't. But this energy with this karmic connection, be it a workplace environment, be it friend, and it could be all of them because we've got the 5 swords up here. So it could be a deep reflection over, because this is karmic frequency we're tuning into, whereby their energy had something to do with that as well as the other person's, but the intuition of saving themselves, right, from themselves and from other people, places and things of what don't relate to them, because we change, right, is the fact that I wouldn't know I blocked him. You shouldn't need to block a person. If you need to block them, why block? There's no need to block, honestly. There's no need to block because you're only going to unblock. And how will you know then whether they have changed when they do try and call you? And they're going to find a way of calling you, trust me. You don't need to block a person to actually get a phone call. They'll just call you on private. So it's a complete waste of time. Anyway, besides the point. Picking up the swords, moving forward, and hoping that, you know, having to make a judgment now after the fact of realising these things, right? How are they going to relate to this? They're meditating upon it. They don't want to be stuck. They know they're being stuck for way too long, making sacrifices to this direct situation. This is going to come up at the eclipse. And I'm telling you, it'll be at the Cancer eclipse. It's still going to start playing out now, knowing that this is coming, knowing it's coming, right? It's coming. Having to focus on what they love, use the power they have, or they'll lose everything they've worked hard for. But they intuitively know that there is a shift coming. And this is from karmic frequencies. They're ready. They're ready. They're ready. Any questions? They're all ready. Now, as to dreams. Yes, profound dreams. Sometimes, prior to communication, you will find you will have very, very bizarre dreams. Very bizarre dreams. This can be through karmic frequency. It can be through you seeing a situation through their eyes and your own body and in your own dream and vision. It could also be the energies coming through of messages they're wanting to give you prior to communication. There has been a lot of nausea. You may find some of you are actually going off certain food groups at the moment. You know, feeling nauseated, like, yeah, nauseated. Aggression, that has been coming up. Agitation, out of nowhere, like you could flog a horse. And I'm no cruelty to animals here. Don't use readings. It's a metaphor, not a physical situation. What other things have been coming up? Number synchronicities, yes, but look, it's been a lot of reflection back, okay? Definitely look at how far you've come. Don't just look at the movement, oh my God, what's going to come in January? No. It's normal for that to happen. Yeah, look, I go through ebbs and flows, but I have found, the other day, I was so nauseated, I realised I had probably had a cookie and 2 chicken wings in 2 days, and I was like, what the devil are you doing? So I got my twin to make spaghetti, and I've always been funny of carbs because I was a very big girl, and I have to watch my weight, but I think my metabolism's changed now. But yeah, it was like, had to eat. I was getting the headaches from the lack of food. I didn't know I hadn't eaten. Like, ridiculous. Do. Yeah, and then I didn't even know we were having a reading. My app told me, and then I had to disconnect the app. Sometimes that happens. I have messaged the website company because I built the thing myself. But the Mercury energy that's playing out is due to the nodes changing, and we're feeling it already, I'm telling you. Communication has come up a lot as well. So you'll find when you're getting the trigger point, whoever it's with, this is your training prior to reunion. Okay? Everything that happens in your life is matched, right? Oh my God, am I worth dreaming of? Seriously? I mean, I'm deeply honoured. Thank you. What, did I visit you? Did I give you some candy? Did I give you some candy cane? I mean, if I could, I'd fly around the world like Santa Claus and I'd drop you all some candy canes and give you a hug and say, don't worry, TF journey will be okay. It will be fine. Just test the theory when I suggest not tuning into it from the point of view of, is it gonna be this long again? If you're doing that, you're really stuffing your manifestation up. No, don't do that to yourselves, guys. Don't believe that. It's a crock of poop. It's not real. Don't be sabotaging yourselves right before the... Yeah, that, look, headaches, I know that the pain body experience, masculine at the moment inside feminine is overactive. Okay, you're on your masculine. Oh, I have got ready for Christmas. Well, who does videos, house cleaning, dealing with children, running a business, renovating the garden, preparing for Christmas, late lunch dinner, and then my family says they want pina coladas. They love my pina coladas. A friggin' Libran with Cancer rising. Yeah. Hey, Stella. Yes, so anyway, the toothache has started up again, and I was like, it's all on the left side, overactive masculine. Yes, I know. So you ended up going out into the garden, shoes off. I did some baking to get my feminine back on, and I did some, you know, some femme things, just to balance it out and to be gentle to myself and anything that comes up. I sat with myself last night, you know, twin went off to bed and it was like, no, I'm going to do my cleaning. And whenever we're doing that, we're shifting the energy. More so when you're going through a trigger step. So you may find, if you're getting a pain body experience on the left side of your body, yeah, overactive a bit. It's been going back and forward, but it's not bad. The Capricorn energy is taking us into that energy where we're having to do a lot more things. I mean, I was talking to Giggle about balancing masculine and feminine because we all have it, males and females. So the feminine is the intuition, the empath, the feelings, The emotions which masculines need to use, right? You need to use that. It is healthy. You know, and some of them that are quite, you know, rigid with their thinking might be saying, you know, I'm not a feminine. What are you talking about? I don't have feminine in me. And it's like, so are you saying you have no feelings? Are you saying you have no opinions, emotions, hunches? That's you tuning into yourself, which is very healthy. And if you're not doing that, so yeah, I got my pina colada mix ready, and then my sister said, "Oh, I'm on a diet. I'm not having it." I'm like, woman, everything in moderation, okay? So anyway, I've got that ready. So balancing it is about looking at the yin and yang. So it's probably a more masculine way of articulating feminine, masculine. It's you being able to actually give yourself permission to have some feelings, not be just a badass all the time. We have those moments. Blokes do it better together. Blokes, very Aussie thing to say. Men tend to be that way more together, but it's still a facade because, you know, it's all that bear and BS stuff. When you should have that one close friend or person you can just be authentic, and you don't even need the friend to do it. You to just do that towards yourself. That's all you need to do. Just be okay with anything that comes up. Be to the point where you're not just known as the worker. You are more than you know. And that's for feminines as well. When you're having to do that all the time, to balance it out, you may have used your masculine for so many years, feminines, that you're so used to it. And I'll give you an example. I have had masculine energies in my life around me. I was the eldest child, so I wanted to be the girl, and my dad would always get me to come out and help him. So he ran a business. He built me a wheelbarrow at the age of 5, and it was like, right, this guy's going to have me working. He taught me to be independent, but he also wanted me to be a feminine. So he'd throw me in the kitchen, and I used to try and manipulate him. I would come home from school, and he was a jack of all trades. He always wanted to do things. ADHD, I'm telling you. So I'd come home, and he would have 20 pallets of bricks, and I'd be like, oh my God, what is my dad going to make us do now? And I would have been about 12, coming home, and the wheelbarrows were waiting out front. He's like, girls, go in, change. You need to then come back out, and you're going to move the bricks to the back. We're going to start. And I'm thinking, what the devil is he making now? So balancing it, you know, when you have been used to doing things like that, Shelley and I were bouncing off each other, talking about the things we're able to do. I can tile. I can change oil in a car. I can change spark plugs. I can change a tire. I can panel beat. Yeah, maybe a little bit of electrical. There's a lot of things I can do that women, you know, and I sarcastically say this, I should not know how to do this shit. But the reality is you learn because you want to. The mind is a beautiful thing. It's interested, but it's also pushing it to the point where you can challenge yourself. And we should all have that attitude in our own lives, that it's not a sex-orientated role, okay? It is a, you know, masculines predominantly have that hunter-gatherer mode. But we've also taken a lot of things away, you know, from men being men, right? Is that because we can do it, it does kind of, like you're saying chivalry's dead. Well, we kind of chivalry deaded it, right? So even if you can do something, step out of your own way, you know, let men do things. You might have been doing it all your life. Does that mean that when you've got 50 tasks in front of you and another person can physically do it, that you can't go? Now, obviously, different situation, giggle, you know what we're talking about. But if the person is able to do it and you can do it, like, why are you doing it? I'll give you an example. You've been mowing the lawn all your life because you haven't had a male energy in your life. And then, you know, a male comes along and says, can I help you with that? Now you could potentially get up in your feminine ego and go, I don't need help with that. I've been doing this for years. take a break, sister. Take a break, okay? Allow chivalry to come back. Be humble. But you need to balance it, okay? When you've been doing everything all your life, you know, I stood in my way because when I was a single parent, I had to do these things. So it wasn't I wanted to. I was fighting my dad in the early years. I didn't want to. I had to because I didn't have that there. So it was crucial for me to learn so many things. And this is what my Gemini energy is going to be this year. Having to know so many things, jack of all trade, and how useful that energy can be. But then if you're wanting to master something, really shifting the focus onto that and really honing in on that to develop it further. But it is Mercury energy, and it does govern your short trips, your journeys. Hi, Dale. We are here still. So hit me with the questions. Thank you, those of you who have sent me Chrissy presents and Chrissy cards. In the new year, I might put a PO box up as well. Thank you for the kind donations and the Christmas wishes. It does help me keep afloat. You know, we've had huge transfers these years. It does help me with the technology and the updates of things I need to do in the background, which, yes, technology is going to need to be updated in 2020. I'm getting there gradually, but it costs a fortune. And a big thank you to YouTube. We wouldn't have this platform unless it was for you guys. So, any questions in the house? Who's the person experiencing the sharp headache? Watch your sinuses at the moment. These eclipses are going to cause a bit of issues with that. Yeah. You may find a person around you that you're tuning into might be actually, purging. Your Kundalini's probably being activated as well. How do you stop assuming he's going to come back with the same when... But you... Okay, because the issue isn't him, right? Or the masculine. We'll say masculine because feminines can be masculines as well. So it depends on who holds that main energy. The way you've got to look at it is it's you that's got the problem because you're literally condescending yourself, hear me out, thinking that you haven't upgraded enough that if they were to come back that same way that you wouldn't have enough power to say, I don't like that. So you can't control what another person does, but you know you've changed, so therefore how would it even work? You'd be like looking at them going, listen, Linda, I'd like to thank the Academy. I love you, but I can't. And it's not that they're a bad person. If they come back with things, right, it's why. And if they are, and if in fact you guys haven't been talking and you've been like estranged and learning and changing, why would they come back with the same tactical approach? Has feminine ever reunited with masculine with the same tactical approach? No, you played bloody chess. You have tried to learn different moves. It's like, I don't know why I'm in my comedy at the moment, but it's like every day we're shuffling. You know, you're trying something different. Why the devil would you come to it the same way? You know, if you're relating to them in the same way, you're going to get the same outcome. It's like trying to bake a chocolate cake, but meanwhile you're trying to make pavlova. You're putting the wrong ingredients in it. Well, if you're coming to it, feminines, with the same dynamic, and you haven't gone, when I feel something, I'm going to articulate it. When I don't like something, I will shift my energy onto something else because I don't like that. So sorry, you teach people how to treat you. Look at the lessons you've learnt with your friends around you, with your work colleagues, and integrate that into the connection as well. And you can change the way it flows and self-worth, right? No, not at all. Don't bother ignoring them because it's just playing games. If they're coming back, why ignore them? You're only, it's not a take. Don't look at it as a game. Stop playing it as a game. I did do that, but you know, you've got to stop looking at it as a game and stop looking at the consequences of, if I say this, does it mean we're going to break up? Well, are you getting a lot? If you're not, what are you losing? Stop playing it like a game. If there is something that is not sitting correctly, you have to address it. It's being adult. It's, you know, you can't expect a relationship to evolve and change if we can't adult ourselves, right, and come to it correctly. So if potentially you're seeing empathically there's things they're going through, yeah, 100% have respect and understanding. But it doesn't mean to say that you have to lower your standards. Maybe step back, allow that to change before you start proceeding forward. So it's being real. It's like not looking at it like, oh, the reason why X, Y, and Z isn't flowing is because they're dealing with X, Y, and Z. Well, do they have time for you? And if they don't, it's not lack of love. It's that chapter hasn't finalized. Step back, keep focusing on yourself, keep the communication open. You learn lessons together. We all individually learn things together. But don't get mad about it. If you were working a 9 to friggin' 11 at night and you were trying to have a relationship, or you were going through a divorce and you were trying to get the relationship off the ground, but you were still trying to tie up financial loose ends, dealing with weekends with kids and, you know, court cases, it's just examples. Could you imagine trying to have a connection in that? Be really realistic. Be very realistic to do with things. But don't get mad and don't feel that these things don't evolve and transform. They do. It's just looking at it without the goggles on or the rose-colored glasses. So having the kind of balance of both. But not one thing you do is wrong, okay? So don't take it I'm judging. You've got to choose what's right for you. If you're okay with it, we'll continue on. But if you feel it's stayed the same for a long time, it needs to be looked at. I put mine in because I do believe regardless we should always live in the moment. So I did mine based on the fact that Librans are moving into a solar return in 2020. It also does block things because we're not ending chapters. So it's a bit like jumping from one relationship to the other. It's like end that chapter, give that person the grace to move forward and the freedom. Some of it could be due to the fact that you just haven't got around to it. But there's various stages of, you know, separation and healing, and I felt it was correct to free that person and to start life where I actually am. Here. Just being in my own energy. Oh, my neck is killing me. Any other questions? Got to live day by day for the present moment that's in front of you and what's happening. Oh, we're not doing too bad for time. I usually start recording around 10, 11, yeah. Any other questions before I run? And as I said, thank you so much for your donations. Yeah, it's just ending cycles so that, you know, those things can move forward. It is, but you do get to the point where you'll find it to be amusing, right? Because you will actually be able to do that so well that when you see other people around you being triggered, which you're gonna start noticing that moving into January, and even now, people around you, their mindset's changing. Children, younger generation, their energy changing. Almost like they're going through ascension symptoms, transformations, trigger modes, looking at things very differently. Aquarians are going to be super triggered because they've got a lot of 12th house activation. Leos, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer. You guys, between now and February, it's changing. And then obviously with the nodes changing, there will be Gemini. I'll mention the signs after. It'll be Gemini and Sagittarius that will be, and again, Leo again, because of the eclipses and the sun energy. They will be quite triggered around the eclipse times. But everyone collectively, because we have various zodiac signs in that. But if you're willing to live in the moment, what you'll find is you know that this too shall pass. Yes, to remove yourself from situations that just don't work and call it what it is. Yeah. Any other questions? letting go always does. As soon as you tune out of it and you're focused in your own energy, and you'll have to do that through reunion as well. Whenever I'm getting out of alignment and I'm focusing too much on the person, and it's more in an ego sense, what are they doing? Is it going to be okay? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, slow down, start focusing on yourself. Are you ready, lady? Go get him. My sister's a Leo. Big shout out to my sister. Somebody asked the other day, they're like, how did you get to see the Leo reading? Because she's my sister. I get her to critique shit. It was funny because we hadn't talked for a few days, and I did the video and I sent it to her. And after, always go back to your zodiac signs, you know, and have a look at them, and you'll see how they relate. Some of these energies will play out later, and some of them you'll grasp more so. So when you go back to the zodiac signs and you listen to them, the Leo, my sister completely understood. She already did understand, but she was like, okay, I explained a mindset of way of looking at it. And then when she went back and listened to it, she goes, oh, that related. I so know what you're talking about. I'm like, good. Good. But you can shift energies. So if you see a situation playing out, the way you relate to it can shift it. The way you are, if you look at the fact that we're energy, the very example that as soon as I tuned out of, think back to any time you've had communication, right? What has happened in your life? You have completely just felt pretty damn grounded, doing your thing, not thinking about it, bang, phone call. It's a detachment. The thing is, while you look at it this way, if you want to manifest, you're thinking about it like you got to will it into be, right? It looks terrible when I'm doing it that way. I'm so naughty. Okay, so you're willing it into be, right? Which means, in theory, I don't believe. If you believe, you don't think about it anymore, do you? So it's like, I believe in twin flame journey. That's what you got to do. I'm telling you. Stop worrying. Think about it. But this has to be real inside you. If you believe that you have a connection with a human being, you know it is, right? I feel this. And just accept your feelings. Just accept how you feel. So you're actually battling with yourself. Physically, you're saying to yourself, I feel it, but should I? I feel like a Romeo and Juliet. Is it to be or not to be? Well, hey, check yourself. What's going on in here, guys? It's like a pina colada mix with pineapple and, I don't know, banana, and it's like turning into a Bloody Mary, and it's, what are you serving up? Okay, universe is going, you're kind of confusing me. You're the hard drive, right? Do you believe? Do you feel? Okay. If you have to go to a video for them to tell you how you should feel, you're going to have a lot of problems. It's like, if it's triggering you, it's a wound. That's all it is. And don't look at that badly. Go, wow, that come up for me. Let's go have a look at that. Let's go have a look at that. Have a look at it. Then sit with yourself and say, okay, the path hasn't looked so great, right? Tick. I've changed. Is that okay? Yes. Tick. I have to make some decisions. It may affect the person's perspective on me. Tick. So if they don't love me, they ain't going to come back. Tick. Now, why would you not want that? If you feel that you deserve drama, right? If you've outgrown it, it's the most beautiful place to go. Good. But it's not to say you don't have understanding, compassion, forgiveness, comprehension, that we all learn lessons in life. And it doesn't mean they don't love you. It's just they've got shit going on and they're changing in the way they're reacting to you, right? Just do you, right? Come back to here, do you, get grounded. Not to say that other dynamics don't play out and you directly are, what happens on your side of the fence does shape and affect that side of the fence, and you both live each other's kind of paradigm at some point or not. different subject. To manifest, you have to be that energy. So if you're in a disbelief that you are a twin flame, because you do fight with your ego over it, it's not real, you know, because they haven't come. Okay. It's not going to happen because the pattern has been X, Y, and Z, so it's always going to be that way. Are you the same? Has the weather changed? Do the food that you eat change? Like, has it changed? The people you mix with, your friendship groups, your job, has that changed? Change happens, right? So ego is saying it's always going to be the same. It's a self-sabotage story, because even if it was the same, you're not the same anymore. So you can't relate to it the same. So accept that, make peace with it, and be in love, like in the vibration of love. Okay, I love this person. If this person is going to be happy with someone else, I want them to be happy. That's love. If this person loves me enough where they are going to choose to be in this connection and build with me, that is me loving myself, and it's me believing in myself that that is to be. If that's to be, it's to be. But you will get to a point where the chess game, and also not wanting to hurt them, not wanting to hurt yourself, having compassion, because in some ways you've done this to other people unknowingly so. And we all have pain in life. We all have been the good, the bad, and the ugly. We need to forgive ourselves for those things. But know that anything that you're going to have shit happen in your life. It's a reality. We're going to have tragedies in our lives. We're going to have the most wonderful epiphany moments and revelations and, you know, winning things and having those butterflies in our stomach where something very much outside of ourselves that we never thought would happen, which is a surprise. So you're going to have, and it's like eating a smorgasbord of life. You are not bad because you had bad things happen. It's like your mother saying to you, if you're good, you're going to get an ice cream. And then the track breaks down. And I use this analogy because we have had the mindset that, well, I did the right thing in the connection, so I don't understand why it's gone pear-shaped. It isn't all your fault. It isn't all about you. Shit just does happen, right? And it's like being in the wrong place at the wrong time and sliding doors. So make peace with it. It doesn't define the future moving forward unless you believe it. If you believe it, yeah, of course it's going to, because you're self-sabotage. So, key is get grounded. Do some tuning in. What do you believe? Where are you? And you do it daily, right? If it comes up, you do it daily. Okay, how do I feel today? Okay, I'm feeling a bit angry. How do I feel today about TF journey? Yeah, I know it'll happen. That's a great place to be. Where you're doing things in your own life, you're shifting all your energy onto you, onto life, onto the process. If you need to make decisions, you need to learn the word no. You need to learn the art of making hard decisions, because no decision is a decision. And it really builds with your self-esteem, and it builds with you being healthy within connections, that sometimes you do have to make hard decisions, you know? Life has many hard decisions, and not just based on relationships either. It could be physically, you know, looking at a dying parent and having to take them off life support. And that, if I've triggered anyone, I apologise. It's more the analogy that we have dark and light in our life, and we have those crucial times when we have to make huge calls, right? Huge calls. We have to love ourselves enough at times to make huge calls for ourselves, but also have trust in the process that some things do happen for a reason. And it doesn't mean to say there will be a negative outcome just because you are changing your way of being with the person. If it is meant to be, it's going to be. But you know, potentially paranoia is preventing you from making major decisions. Well, I don't think you can actually detach. No, I mean, more detached in a point, you can actually. You'll be very surprised. I've been on this journey over 20 years, and there was a change inside myself, and I was like, what is this energy? Because the ascension symptoms become so heavy, your sleep will get interrupted. It got to the point I started tuning into astrology because my energy, even not being with my twin, I would sense something and I would take on their vibration. Even in separation, I would be doing something and I'd be very focused on my own energy and it would come in. I had to train myself to push the energy out. Now, some say you can do energy work to actually connect in. But you want to bring it down to the 3D. The problem is when we're 5D, it is positive, right? But it can become stagnant because you're only living in the 5D. So in a projection sense, in a manifestation sense, you're believing the only healthy place you can physically have a connection with this person is 5D. You need to get into the 3D to do 3D work as well. So we are both, right? We're 3D and we're 5D. And I found myself living an alternate life in the 5D and then realizing I'd outgrown that and realizing I wanted a 3D relationship with TF. So the detachment of the energy was crucial for me because the ascension symptoms become debilitating, okay? So by, some channelers and some readers on YouTube will suggest doing energy work and sending white light, but then that can be beneficial, yes, but it also can be ego that we're feeling we're stronger than them, which is almost taking on masculine frequency. How do you allow a masculine to become masculine if you're taking over their job all the time? Right? Get into your feminine, follow your intuition. Stop thinking that they can't change their life. Stop feeling that they are victims or that they can't. And I'm not saying don't have compassion. It's more just check what's coming up for you. Check the way you're actually looking at the connection or at them as a human being. Because I really had to check myself. I was like, okay, so what? Do you believe you're Hercules, Yildiz? Do you think you can do everything better than, men, twins? And I was like, no. And I really had to look at it and go, wow, man, like, I have always had faith in this person. Right, so I was thinking, why is my mindset that person can't do X, Y, and Z? Because it was my fear, it wasn't reality. So when I looked at that, I had to detach and say, no, I know he has this. I know he's fine. I know he can handle this. Because, this whole time in my belief system, what he went through, he's stronger than me. Yeah, so it's just... I had to get out of the 5D all the time because it was a 5D relationship. I mean, look, 5D relationship, and I was like, yeah, man. And then it becomes emotional because you're like, I'm here in the 3D. So what are we doing? Checking out all the time? We need to have both. We are here. We're here to learn lessons, right? And to live. But we have to have the faith in ourselves, right? Because my faith was always in TF, but not in myself. And I didn't realise, because it was like, if I just have faith in you, prop you up. And it was like, I didn't need to prop them up. I needed to prop my own shit up. You know what I mean? I was so busy focusing on another person or keeping busy. And, that's why you wake up at 3. You're having the awakening. You're saying 1, 1, 1, 1. And you're saying 5, 5, 5, 5. It's like you're looking outside of yourself. We're trying to speak to you. You need to get in here. Get down here. 5D, Neptune, friggin' all of that, your dreams, which is a manifestation, right? But you're living up there, and it's the work here and the work up there. Your dreams, hopes, and dreams can come true, but the pain body experience prevents you from realizing fluidly. We can hear, we can sense things. A lot of you are having symptoms at the moment because you're tuning into 2020. So if you're seeing synchronistic patterns in families and dynamics to that degree, the communication, which again is March, with the nodes changing into Gemini, you directly are psychically channeling, but you don't know you're doing it. So you're tuning into forward. When you're tuning into karmics, you're taking their vibration on. When you're believing the karmic ain't changing, you're allowing that cycle to stay the same. You are energetically feeding that frequency. I have to be so friggin' careful of what I think it is like that, right? My father passed away before his birthday this year, so that was prior to October. Now, the funny thing was, lately I've been feeling his energy, and something come on, and his nickname was Ringo. They named him Ringo Starr, right? So they used to nickname him Ringo Starr. And they were talking about it on the TV. And my sister had just left, and I was like, been thinking about my dad. And then the term came up, and I said to my twin, I'm walking outside, and I don't want to hear this. So I know he's around, but, you know, I'd been thinking about it a bit too much. So I walked outside, looked down to my phone, and my sister messaged me, and I'll put it up in the community post. I'll try and block out some of the numbers so that the person's number plate isn't kind of exposed. But sure enough, it was Ringo. And I'm like, okay, Dad, hey. It's, you think it happens, and it's like, look at it. So I was also thinking the other day about the fires, because there happened to be one down the road near the school. And the weird thing was, the day before, I was thinking, there hasn't been a fire back there. And then bang, the next day there was a fire. You've got to be so careful what you think. And then again, it was over the weekend, I was thinking, thank God they've moved that rubbish behind the property. And I mean more wood chips and things like that. It's clean. Because bushfires are rampant, and we're due. And then bang, 2 seconds later there was a fire down the road, and it was travelling this way. So be careful the way you think. The higher into your ascension you get in your third eye, you're actually tuning into the energy. You're not only are you manifesting it, but you also can tune directly into a forward energy of what's coming. So it's a bit of both. Just be careful. Like, you think something, breathe it out and think of something else. Especially if you don't like the thing you're tuning into. Just tune out. Just test it. You'll be thinking of a friend, and then bang, they'll call. I always will say to my siblings, or, you know, my friends, oh, I'm going to hear from such and such. And then I do. Anyway, I will love you and leave you, because I do have a lot of work to do for your zodiac signs. I will do my very best to have them up before the 1st, but hey, we're pushing. I've got 2 days before Christmas. So worst case scenario, they'll be up January, but I'm trying to make them as in-depth as possible. I'll come to you again live. I'm still here, you know, I'm recording in the background. After Christmas, I'll come to you again. I'll be here during the month, don't stress. You never know, tonight I might get on and go, oh, I've got more energy downloads. Anyway, if you are wanting a booking, you can go to the link below. Love and light.